What's going on, everybody? It is James and Shane back finally to do a division preview. First of all, James, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, buddy. What's going on?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, so
I worked an 11-hour shift. I got another one tomorrow. I'm tired.
welcome, welcome to life, buddy. I'm always tired.
Yeah, well, you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. to do it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
All right, so today we got the AFC West to do. We've put this off far too long. Just kept having to reschedule, and then finally we are scheduled on, so we got the AFC West today.
Is Justin coming on? Obviously not for this episode, but for the South episode.
I don't know. I forgot to talk to both you and him yesterday. I'll text him. He may not. I think he said he's busy on the weekdays, but we'll see. But so AFC West, like usual, we are going to start from 4 to 1, and then do the records afterwards. So James, I'm curious to see who you have because this is another division. I know who you'll have at number 1, but from 4 to 2, I'm a little interested.
This is a division that's really well-rounded in my opinion. It kind of reminds me a lot of the NFC East in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Raiders are like the dysfunctional franchise that still have not that bad of a roster. They can still make some things happen. I mean, they got like the Eagles, who are the clear front runner, but like could still somehow lose that division, and I don't think anyone would be that surprised. Which would be, or I'll get into that. But number 4, I thought really hard about this. It was actually like super hard, but I think I have to go with the Raiders. This first year, I think it's going to take a couple, like honestly, an entire season at least for John Gruden to get back in the swing of things. I'm worried about, apparently he hasn't talked to Khalil Mack, who's easily the best player on the team, which I think is bad. I don't know. I hope John Gruden can do it because I really do like Gruden. I don't really know too many people who don't like Gruden, but I do have the Raiders at 4. They have the quarterback situation figured out. I do think Derek Carr is, a pretty good player. I think he's, better half of the league. I think he's, 16 or above. They have some players. I mean, they just need to. I don't know. The Raiders scare me. They were on the right track, but I feel like they went backwards in the past couple of years, and that's pretty bad considering they do have their quarterback.
Yep. Real quick, can you either step forward a little bit or talk up? I'm having trouble hearing you, so I know our viewers will have trouble hearing you. But I actually have the same thing, and this makes me think that our division is going to be the exact same from top to bottom to top, whichever. I do have the Oakland Raiders coming in last. This team, I mentioned it to you, James. We were texted about Khalil Mack not even getting talked to from Gruden, the front office, about a potential contract extension. They're not even close. I don't know how you do that. Oh, I just realized I don't have their schedule, but I can do without. But this team, like you said, and I mentioned this to you, I don't understand how this team goes from winning 12 games 2 seasons ago to now they're borderline rebuilding.
Yeah.
This has been definition of a hot start and then, quick fall. And now I don't like them to do very well this year. I picked them to win the division last year. They disappointed me. Granted, there were some injuries. I know Derek Carr got hurt. But I felt like what really was the nail in this team's coffin was signing Marshawn Lynch. I'm not a huge Marshawn Lynch fan. He hadn't played in over a year, and if you expect a 30-year-old running back who hadn't played in over a year to be your, bell cow and be the running, be your running game, I just think that's bad news.
Yeah, I feel like the Raiders are getting a little gimmicky almost with the Marshawn Lynch signing to begin with, and then the John Gruden $100 million contract.
And that's another thing, John Gruden. Like you, I love me some John Gruden. But he hasn't coached in a decade. It's a completely different league. Everyone's joking, but I think it's true that he's acting like it's the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It the kids today, I mean, just over like the past decade, how much people have changed, especially like kids our age. You know, he's been away for a long time. I think he'll be okay. Like I said, I just think it's going to take him a while to figure it out. And, you know, people are going to be impatient. They had, like you said, they had a 12-win season a couple years ago, and they're probably pretty pissed right now, and understandably so. They should have kept building on that team, and they didn't do a good job of it. They didn't do a good job at all.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this to you too. This team, you know, I remember there a few years ago, there was a graphic, and I couldn't say, I meant to look it up, but I don't have it on me. But there's a graphic from like 2004 to 2013 or something of who the Raiders picked in the draft. And then who was the pick right after them? Not a few picks later, literally the very next pick. And, you know, it shows almost all of the players the Raiders picked bums. And the players on the right were like all-stars. And I remember two of them. One was Aaron Rodgers. They missed out on Aaron Rodgers. And then the second one that I remember for sure was Calvin Johnson. Oh, and I think Ndamukong Suh was another one.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson went the same year as Jamarcus Russell, I want to say. Right? Number 2 overall.
Yeah, that was 2007. That sounds about right. I want to say Ndamukong Suh was up there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to say Russell went number 1 overall to the Raiders, and Calvin Johnson went number 2 to the Lions. That's what happened. I do remember that.
But yeah, anyway, so it just shows how they are as a front office. And then they actually had some great drafts. You know, they got Derek Carr, Khalil Mack in one draft, and I'm trying to think the next year. They got our boy Carl Joseph from WVU. Then Garon Conley, and everyone's like, this team is drafting well, but this year especially, they did not have a very good draft. They completely neglected the defense. The secondary is terrible, and I don't know how you can have a bad secondary when your pass rushers are Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin, but they managed to do it.
Yeah, I know. But with that being said, I don't think they're going to be like complete garbage.
No.
They're just going to be last in that division, in my opinion. But who do you got number 3?
Number 3, I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Yeah. So I had a feeling after you said I was worried about who you would have number 4. But after we both had Oakland, I think we're going to have the exact same. But yeah, so Denver Broncos. Obviously, the big acquisition was bringing in Case Keenum. We all knew they had to go after a quarterback, and we knew Paxton Lynch and getting it done. Defensively,
man, honestly, the Broncos have not drafted well over the last few years. Elway needs to get it together, man. I don't know what he's been doing.
Elway has made his buck through free agency. He is not
hitting the draft.
No, not since Demaryius Thomas.
Been way off.
Yeah, he drafted Demaryius Thomas, Von Miller, back-to-back years, I think, in the first round, or maybe Demaryius Thomas wasn't a first-round pick. I want to say he was though. And then, kind of since then, it's been garbage. They acquired Aqib Talib in free agency. They acquired DeMarcus Ware in free agency. T.J. Ward in free agency. He's made Peyton Manning in free agency. He's made his money through free agency. That's how they got a ring. But yeah, like you said, he hasn't drafted well. And this year was another one I actually liked. I know you didn't, but they don't have a quarterback, like I said. Their offensive line is subpar. I'm not sold on Vance Joseph as the head coach. There were rumors they were going to let him go last year. And defensively, I think they're going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be as good as it used to be. Kind of like Seattle.
First of all, Denver's lost some players, but they did also just get Bradley Chubb, which I think was a very nice pick. I think Case Keenum presents stability, but it's very mediocre stability. Like, they don't have to worry about the roller coaster they had to before, but now they have to, really have a really good team around Case Keenum to win, which is fine. That's a good way to do it sometimes, but they lost to leave. Von Miller, I wouldn't say he's declining because he still should be in his prime. I mean, he could easily have like a 20-sack year this year, and it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm pretty sure his numbers have gone down the last 2 years in a row.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think a lot of that has to do with DeMarcus Ware retiring, and
Yeah.
now everyone's just focusing on him.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still having great seasons, but everybody on that defense is getting another year older. I don't believe that they're the defensive powerhouse that they once were. You know, I hate to say this because it's dumb, but I only watched them one time last year. The Broncos and the Eagles just absolutely buried them, and that defense didn't look that good last year, and they lost a bunch of players off that defense. The offense is going to be very average. I think it's going to be 16th in the league because Case Keenum will throw some nice passes. They do have two nice receivers. They don't have that great of a running back. Who is the running back now?
Right now, the depth chart says Devontae Booker, but I won't be shocked if their third-round pick, Royce Freeman, emerges.
Oh yeah, it's going to be Royce Freeman. I was going to say because I know they lost. What's his name?
Yeah, they let C.J. Anderson go. And
I mean they're a team that is just going to sit in purgatory. There's purgatory teams who just sit around 5-11 to 8-8 every year, and they just don't get great draft picks, and they just can't get any better. And that's what I see the Broncos as until they go get a real quarterback. So
one thing that's not going to do Case Keenum or that run game any favors is their offensive line. It's not a good offensive line at all. I do like some of their weapons offensively. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders is a good 1-2 punch at wide receiver. They drafted Cortland Sutton, so I like some of their wide receivers. Jake Butt at tight end, I like him, but their offensive line is terrible, and they have an unproven run game. I just, like you said, this is going to be about middle of the pack offensively.
Yep.
So second place team, I'm going to assume I already know, unless you're throwing me a curveball here, but go ahead.
Really, really going to hinge on Patrick Mahomes, but I swear to you, if you said he came out this year and threw for 3,800 yards and 25 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, I would believe that in 1 second. And I think if he does that, they could easily win a division because the Chargers seem to have already caught the injury bug. They've lost some good players. There's no way to deny it. They've lost, 2 Pro Bowl caliber players. I don't know if Hunter Henry's ever made one, but I think he's that caliber of a player, and we know Jason Verrett is. He can't stay healthy at all, but that's 2 good players already. They lose a couple more good players, and that roster went from being really, really good to just good. And when you're just good, you're not going to do much. But the Chiefs are getting older. They did get rid of Marcus Peters. They got a huge hole at corner. They better hope Eric Berry can stay healthy. Their linebackers are old as hell. Their defensive line is old as hell. But that offense is absolutely filthy. An above-average offensive line. I wouldn't even say it was top 10, but
it's okay. I'm not that high on it. It's okay. It gets the job done.
It gets the job done, but I'll tell you what, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Kareem Hunt, and Travis Kelce is just dynamic. I mean, they can just beat you in so many ways. But at the end of the day, Andy Reid has just proved that he's, a great X's and O's coach. But when it comes to the logistics of a game and game management and when to call certain plays and stuff, he drops the ball every single time. It's really a shame. But like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if this team did finish in first place, just for the fact that I think Mahomes is going to be really good, because I don't think Andy Reid would be this high on him if he wasn't, because Andy Reid is good with quarterbacks. And secondly, I think the Chargers, everybody was a little too high on them. And when everybody gets high on a team, especially a team that's perennially letting you down, I don't know. We'll see. But I got the Chiefs at 2.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing. Kansas City Chiefs at number 2. I'd say this. If Alex Smith were still on the Chiefs, given the injuries to the Chargers this early in the season, I think I'd pick the Chiefs to win the division.
That's what I'm saying. If Mahomes has an Alex Smith-like season, I think they can win that division.
And that's not impossible if he cuts down on the turnovers. I mean, Alex Smith throws you 20 touchdowns a year. So not impossible, but he's got to keep the turnovers to a minimum. But yeah, like you said, very dynamic offensively. Kareem Hunt, I mean, all 3 of their running backs, Kareem Hunt, Spencer Ware, Sharkandrick West can all, potentially be stable presence, a stable presence, potential 1,000-yard rushers if a couple guys get hurt. Wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins are obviously pretty good. Chris Conley's even not bad. He's a decent receiver for them. And
he
then,
is in the spot. He's really fast.
And then Travis Kelce, pretty good offensive line. It's not anything special, but it gets the job done, like we said.
It does. It's an effective offensive line.
And then, like you said, their front seven is pretty good. It's just aging. There are some dudes on the defensive line that are pretty good. Justin Houston, it just feels like 2014 was a lifetime ago. When
he's still dominating games when he gets a chance. He had like a 4 or 5 sack game last year.
Yeah, he's still pretty good. Just 2014, he had 20 sacks or something. That just feels like a lifetime ago. Yeah, and they got a good pass rush, so they're going to be okay up front, I think. Problem is their secondary. They have a huge hole at corner. They did get Kendall Fuller from Washington in the Alex Smith trade.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but that's it. That is all that they have, and he's more of a slot corner. They're probably going to try him outside just because they made the move to get him. But he's more of a slot corner. Here's their top 3 corners listed on the roster right now. Steven Nelson, Keith Reeser, David Amerson. I've never heard of any of them.
Me neither.
That's a huge hole. Hopefully, like you said, Eric Berry can stay healthy. And I do like their, I think, 4th-round pick, Armani Watts, out of Texas A&M, free safety. I think he could be a good safety duo with Eric Berry, but they got a huge hole at corner. Like you said, that this season is going to depend greatly on Patrick Mahomes. If he performs well and is better than Alex Smith, this team's winning the division, I think. But there's also a very good chance he is just okay. They go about 8-8.
Yeah, exactly.
And their schedule-wise is extremely difficult. They open their first 2 games on the road against the Chargers and the Steelers. And then they're home against San Francisco, not a gimme. At Denver, which against Denver's pass rush and essentially a rookie quarterback, that could be trouble. I could easily see a 1-3 start.
0-4 maybe.
0-4 potentially. Then Jacksonville at home. Not a gimme game. That defensive front could eat Patrick Mahomes' lunch.
Man, that is a tough schedule.
Then at New England. That's their opening. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's their first 6 games. At the Chargers, at the Steelers, San Francisco at home, at Denver, Jacksonville at home, and then at New England.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, just a tough schedule. It depends a lot on, like we said, Patrick Mahomes. And I guess how the Chargers perform, which is my number 1 team. I'm going with the Chargers to win this division. This team always seems to, I don't want to say let you down, because last year I wouldn't say they let us down. I didn't have high expectations for them. I thought they were going to be about an 8-8 team, and they go 9-7, arguably the hottest team in the NFL to end the season, but they started 0-4. And a lot of close games. I think even they played the Eagles very close at home. They lost 2 games due to missed field goals, I think. So this team should have
almost lost that game.
Yeah, this team could have easily have been 10-6, 11-5. But I like this team a lot. They have a really good defensive front. Probably the most underrated defensive front in the NFL. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Corey Lugitt, Brandon Mebane. Just that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Bosa and Ingram.
Top 10 D linemen.
Yeah, easily. Offensive line has made huge strides from just a few seasons ago when Rivers was running for his life. Russell Okung, pretty good left tackle. They beefed up their interior with Dan Feeney and Forrest Lamp. And then they signed Mike Pouncey in the offseason from Miami to be the starting center. Yeah, this is going to be a good offensive line and a very good offense. Keenan Allen, Terrell Williams, and Travis Benjamin on the perimeter. But tight end, what's up?
They get Mike Williams back.
Yeah, I forgot about Mike Williams. You're right.
First pick.
And Melvin Gordon at running back. They're going to be good. The problem is they were really banking on Hunter Henry because they let Antonio Gates walk in the offseason. They were really banking on Hunter Henry to step in, and he's hurt now. So that's a huge loss defensively. We've mentioned him. But Jason Verrett out for the year. Pretty damn good corner. This is still a very good corner group. Casey Hayward, former Packer, all-pro caliber player. Trevor Williams is a pretty good corner. Desmond King, I think, was pretty good last year. I know he was a high draft pick.
He's a good player.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention him. They brought in Derwin James, first-round pick. So
forgot about that.
Yep. So I like this team, but given the losses to Verrett and I keep forgetting their names, Hunter Henry, I don't think it's ridiculous to say they maybe lose an extra game. I thought they were an 11-5 team. I think now they're more like a 10-6 team.
Same.
Yeah. So that's our okay. Yeah, but you go ahead and give your reasoning for them. Obviously, I forgot about Phillip Rivers. Damn good quarterback.
Yes. I mean, I agree. I probably, without those injuries, I probably would have had them closer to 11-5. But people, I kind of don't like. I think I've used it a couple times myself, but I kind of don't like when people use they could have easily been this record instead, because you know what I mean. You're not though. Yeah. You know what I mean. You lost those games, and that means you made stupid mistakes or you made coaching mistakes. Like, you didn't deserve to win the game. 99 times out of 100 times, if you lose, you deserve to lose the game. It doesn't really matter what the outcome was, unless it was just some complete bullshit.
That's fair.
So they're going to lose some games that they should win this year. They're going to lose to a bad team probably a couple times. You know what I mean? The Steelers always do it. The Steelers should win 13, 14 games every year, and they always lose to some bum-ass teams every year. So that's what they're going to do.
Not in the division, though. For whatever reason, they never have trouble in that division. Granted, none of the teams are any good.
Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, I got them 10-6. They have a better roster than a 10-6 record, but that's where I'm going to put them. What about where do you have the Chiefs? The Chiefs at the
this beginning, I originally had 9-7, but I'm looking at the beginning of the schedule again. I'm going 8-8.
After you told me that schedule, I am too.
Yeah, that's just a brutal way to start. They could easily be about 1-5 to start the season, and then maybe Mahomes figures it out. Well, too bad you're 1-5.
Yeah.
So I'm going 8-8. Denver. I got a little nugget of information for you. The Denver Broncos have not had back-to-back losing seasons since the 70s.
That's impressive, dude. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy to think. So I'm rolling with it. I'm going to say they're about 8-8 as well.
I think they're an 8-8 ball club. They have, an above-average defense. They have a quarterback who's going to give them 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
They upgraded at quarterback, which is their biggest problem last year.
Listen, there's 10 teams in the league that would kill for 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Yeah. I ain't one of them. I'd rather you throw 30 touchdowns and 17 picks, I swear to God. But, yeah, I'm going to say 8-8 too. I think they'll both go 8-8. And I got the Raiders at 6-10. I think they're going to have a very similar season as last year. They're just going to be a little dysfunctional this year. It's going to take them a year to figure it out. I do think, within the next 5 years or so, John Gruden and Derek Carr will hit a stride, and they'll. That's
the problem. They signed Gruden to a 10-year contract. I think you got to give him at least 4 years to see what he can do. Maybe 5, yeah, like you said. I had the exact same thing. We are, right on the money with this, with the exact same. I'm gonna go 6-10. I look at this team. They were 6-10 last year, and I don't think they got a whole lot better. They definitely didn't get better through the draft. They added Jordy Nelson, who, listen, I love Jordy Nelson with all my heart. He did great things in Green Bay. He is well past his prime and was only good
without Rodgers.
Yes, he was irrelevant without Rodgers. The 2 times Rodgers has been hurt, Jordy Nelson became irrelevant. But anyway, I think he's past his prime. He's in an offense that doesn't, have Aaron Rodgers. I think that's going to be a setback. Doug Martin. Doug Martin is another player well past his prime. He was really good in 2012. He never bounced back. And then I do love Darryl Worley, our very own WVU Mountaineer. I think he could really help bolster that cornerback group. But Leon Hall, I think, is a little old. Marcus Gilchrist is a little old. Tahir Whitehead's pretty good linebacker. I think Dwayne Harris can make an impact on special teams, but the rest, they did add Derek Johnson from the Chiefs, who's pretty good. He's just old again, but
35, dude.
Yeah, he's good. Just he's 35. Who knows if he'll bounce back? I don't think this team got much better. So yeah, I think they're about a 6-10 team. I won't be shocked if they end up being about 7-9 or 8-8.
Yeah, maybe they'll just take the hell off under Gruden. That'd be cool.
I could also see them being much worse than 6-10, maybe like 4-12.
Same.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they could easily. They're likely going to be a dumpster fire this year. Unfortunate. They were really good a few years ago.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
All right,
well,
so yep, that is our. We wrapped up pretty quickly. That is our AFC West preview. Kind of boring. It was all the exact same.
It's funny. That's like a pretty contentious division, and like we all just agreed on pretty much everything, even the records. It's pretty funny. But yeah. What are we doing next show on?
I believe our next three. This was the
NFC
fifth one.
East?
Yeah. Next one is AFC South, then the NFC East, and then the NFC South. I could easily do NFC East next first. That way we alternate.
It's okay. I want to do.
I know you're ready for your Eagles.
I'm with Grant. Let's go.
But yeah, so AFC South is likely our next video unless we change our minds. NFC East, then the NFC South to round up. Then we'll be done, and then I'll have to find some other segments.
We can do some top 5 lists, like asshole off-season people.
We could.
I love it.
But we do need to do a regular show. A lot of news, especially with Urban Meyer this week.
Oh my God! I don't even. He's probably gonna get fired.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on a regular show.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Well, Brett.
Yep. Talk to you tomorrow.
See you, buddy.
Later.